Yeah, I want to make every contract the state of Florida signs transparent. I want it on my website. I want the whole world to be able to read it. Now, it's not that we're all that kind of boring people that we want to read contracts, but it's your money. Here's the deal. The state budget is $70 billion now. $70 billion. $50 billion of the state budget is not a direct payment from the Treasury to a state employee to do the job. $50 billion, 72% of the entire state budget, is now a contract. It's a food service provider. It's a mental health care provider. It's a foster care provider. It's a software provider. It's a contractor of some type. Well, what I'm reading in these contracts as your treasurer, your CFO, not one private company would tolerate the behavior that goes on around this place. 33 different agencies in state government have 3,300 different contract managers, people that do this, with one degree or another of education and qualifications to sign contracts. No company would run this way. They would consolidate that decision making. The people who would sign contracts would be qualified, and the contracts would have common elements. Imagine this, that if you're gonna provide money to somebody to do a job on your behalf, would you not have a clear deliverable, a performance measure, you know, how you'll measure that they got the job done, and if they don't do the job on time or do it right, there's a financial consequence. There's no requirement in Florida. If you want to have a grant from the state of Florida to provide certain services, all that contract might have is that you send me an invoice quarterly for the bill I'm supposed to send you. We had one just recently that an agency wanted software developed. And in the end, the only thing in the contract basically was, this contract will be deemed over when the agency head and the vendor believe that it's over and agree it's over, or when the vendor tells us all the money's gone. Well, what do you think happened? They spent all the money that was available in the grant, and we have no software. Now, what company would ever have tolerated that? They would have said, you're going to do software for us, these are the timelines, this is what's going to be in the software, and if you don't do it on time and do it exactly like we want it, this is the consequences to you financially.
And how do you? I mean, what's currently
yeah? So the bills. Well, there's a lot of lobbyists in this building who represent contractors who don't want there to be such clarity. They don't want that kind of transparency. They want to keep making money off this trough of ours. I say no way. It's done. You're over. So right now in the Senate we have a bill that's moving, and in the House a bill just moved to the Senate that could work, but it's not everything I want. It's your money. We're spending your money.
So there's lobbyists lobbying for this and also lobbyists lobbying against this.
The only one lobbying for it is me. But I'm representing 19 million people whose tax money comes to the Treasury, and then these agencies spend it. And the agencies aren't particularly excited about having real clear deliverables. They pick out a vendor, and I say, why are you picking out? Well, shouldn't these all be bid? Why do we have so many sole source contracts? Why do the contracts go back to the same vendor time after time after time? So the bill is simple. What we're trying to do is simply do this. Look, first, have competitive bidding. Make people sharpen their pencil to win the state's business. Secondly, let's train the people who are going to be contract managers that represent the state at the negotiating table, how to be better negotiators on behalf of the state. But when you get down to writing the contract, be sure every contract has a clear deliverable, has performance measures, and has financial consequences to the vendor if they don't give us what we're expecting for the people's money. And the last thing I was looking for is this. Before the biggest one, the largest contracts are ultimately signed, let the CFO's office look at it to be sure those three elements are there. And are they good quality? Really solid performance measures. I look at them when they're already out the door. I am the state auditor. But after the horse has left the barn and I'm sitting in front of a vendor and the vendor says, yeah, but you all, the Department of Health signed it, the Department of Education signed it, the Department of Transportation signed it, I'm due this money. And I said, yeah, but you haven't done anything for it. And they go, well, that's your problem. You guys shouldn't have signed the contract with us. I think these contracts should be held to a higher standard, should be very transparent, and should have clear elements for success, because it's the taxpayers' money that we're spending. No business would do this. And in every business they have due diligence. Somebody looks over the shoulder to be sure that the quality is there. All I'm asking for in this bill is that taxpayers receive the same due diligence that shareholders of companies receive. It's their money.